Hello and welcome to the Plays the Thing. My name's Matt, and in today's video, you are seeing my face properly for the whole video. And I am doing a board game CULL video. This is my second one. So go and check out the first one. I'm making a playlist, but it's not quite finished yet. Because obviously I will be doing this every so often because I will have to get rid of games because I keep buying games. And yeah, I need to clear out some space so I can get new ones because I will be getting new ones. I've got at least 3 or 4 coming through GameFound and Kickstarter in the next sort of 5-6 months, and obviously I will buy games. So I'm doing another CULL. It's interesting to talk about games that haven't necessarily worked for me. That doesn't mean they're bad games, let me just put it that way. And obviously all games have some people that like them. So, this is not about sort of slagging off games. It's just things that don't work for me with certain games. And obviously, I have started, as I've started doing playthroughs, I've started buying games that maybe I would have held off a little bit more. I wasn't completely sure about, or I thought, well, I'll just give that a try, or that will work really well as a playthrough. Honestly, most of these I bought because I thought I'd like them. I think there were a couple. One I got for Christmas, which I had asked for, but I wasn't sure about, and another one I just bought in my local board game shop. Anyway, I've got my cup of chamomile to relax me as I go through this. And I also have, I'll just show you, this camera. So I've got this camera, and here are all the games, little preview. So I will, if I need to, I can show you a close-up of things in certain games if I feel like that. Okay, so let's begin. I'll just put my laptop down, and we're going to start with a game that I've actually had for a while, and I bought at UK Games Expo, not this last summer, but the summer before. And I'd heard about it, I think, the Dice Tower had quite a lot on this game, and it is, before going any further, Marvel United. And I have this X-Men one. I bought both of these at the same time. So this has got Professor X, Cyclops. Let me show you. Yeah, it's got Professor X, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Wolverine, and Storm. So I thought that would be pretty cool. And foes as well: Juggernaut, Sabretooth, Mystique, and Magneto. I really like Magneto. So I just thought I'd give it a try, and we played it at UK Games Expo, and I think my two friends we kind of were playing it just having read the rules, but I think they were a little bit underwhelmed with it. And basically it comes down to that the solo mode, I think there's a solo mode in this box or in the other one, and it doesn't really work very well. You get a certain number of heroes and you mix them all up. So I wasn't a huge fan of the solo mode, but also it doesn't feel tremendously thematic as a hero because the cards you play are pretty basic. I wonder if I can get one out for you. Where are the cards? Yeah, they're here. So if I just show you, these cards. So some of them have powers on, like that one, but others are just like this. So they're very basic powers. So this is move and then attack. And most of the cards are like that. I think they have a couple of special power-ons in their deck, all the heroes, but it just didn't really do it for me. It didn't feel thematic enough for me. So yeah, that's it really. Just not quite what I was looking for. And that's really it. I love Marvel, I love the X-Men, but not enough theme. So I will be selling both of those. And then, let me have a little drink. And then next on the list, probably will be slightly more controversial. And I was actually talking about this on Reddit today in solo board gaming. Robinson Crusoe. So Robinson Crusoe was one of those games that is very high up in solo board game rankings. And I will say that I totally appreciate this game. I completely understand why people love it. It is a puzzle. It's quite difficult. I think maybe too punishing for me sometimes. But I do love certain things about it. I love the event deck. So you're kind of solving puzzles and doing things and getting cards that go into your event deck and get shuffled in, will come back later. And I love that sort of thing. I love that sort of thing. That's great. In fact, that mechanic I love so much that I kind of sort it out in other games as well. It's a brilliant mechanic. But I think, as is often the way with me, the overriding sort of thing with Robinson Crusoe is that it has a huge setup. Like, there's so much to set up, so many tokens. It just feels so much. And for the gameplay, which is brutal at times, like quite often quite brutal, I just feel like that sort of the difference between those things, big setup, can be painful. It just doesn't quite fit for me. So I think it's time to sell Robinson Crusoe. But I do genuinely think it's a brilliant game. So next, this may be a surprise to people who know that I like Garfield games. And I do. I like a lot. In fact, I'm planning to play another Garfield game very soon. I think Viscounts. Anyway, but the next one is Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux. Honestly, of all the Garfield games I've played, and I have played most of them solo, although Raiders of Scythia, which I just played yesterday solo, I have played with a friend. But this, for me, it's not bad, but it feels like an early version of his games that are happening now and have happened in the last couple of years. And although this is a Redux version, like he's changed it, I played it a few times and I was just a bit meh about it. In fact, there's bits of Legacy of You in this. There are some similarities, but I just think Legacy of You is a great game, which is why I keep playing it. And this one, I have no desire to play this again. And if I have no desire to play it again, I'm going to sell it. I don't know. I don't think it's come out. I think it was a Kickstarter. And I don't know whether it's like being sold. So I don't know if people will want it or what have you, but I am selling it. Okie dokie. So that is Shipwrights of the North Sea Redux, and then the next one kind of pains me to do this. This game I like. Yeah, I like it a lot, and I like dungeon crawlers, as you may know if you've seen. I do have some dungeon crawlers. I have Agamonia, which I need to play again, which is a big, huge game. But this one, oh my god! And the box is just like the name of the game, Massive Darkness 2, Hellscape. So Massive Darkness 2, this is also a great game. Like this is one of the games that that's on this list that I'm kind of like, should I? But the truth is, I have better dungeon crawlers that have a campaign, and I would prefer to play those and keep playing the campaign. And this has it has lots of different levels, but it's not a campaign as such, which is good because you can just drop in. But the setup for this game, even against other dungeon crawlers, is massive. And there are so many figures, and when you're in a dungeon and an enemy comes on the board, like 4 of them come on the board at once, so you're putting a lot of figures out, and the heroes actually in this are great, and they're all very different. They each have different powers, which is cool, but also means a lot of setup. And they also have a lot of cards that you have to look at, and when you upgrade, you have to go through cards to upgrade, and there's just an awful lot. And you will find with me, this is a running theme, there's an awful lot to do, and it just tips the scale the wrong way for me. Also, one of the other problems with this is there's a weird thing that when you're fighting, when you are attacking at range, like it can be really brutal when you're being attacked at range, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I have, I played through the first scenario of Red Dragon Inn, Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. That to me is just a little bit nicer and not as brutal, and it can be, you can up the level, but this sometimes can just be so brutal, and it kind of doesn't make sense either. But what I do love about it is you chuck a load of dice and loads of different ones, and when you're in a dark space, you may potentially get a good power. So, like I say, there is nothing really bad about this game. It's just huge, a lot of setup, and a little bit fiddly at times, and a little bit annoying for me when you just take loads of damage and you're kind of like, really? So that is Massive Darkness 2. I did actually buy a little upgrade for this as well. So I've got like another, I think 2 more sort of heroes. So God knows, if someone wants to buy this, I'll probably sell it quite cheap, because that's quite often what I do to get rid of them. Okay, so Massive Darkness 2, Hellscape. And what is next? Okay, this one, yes. So this is the one I got for Christmas present that was on a Christmas list, and I have played it quite a few times. My problem with this one is that it's quite complicated, and I forget the rules in between playing it, and so I have to go through a whole process of playing it again. Also, I would say with this, which is Maracaibo, the original version, because there is a new one that is kind of a bit streamlined, I think. But one of the problems I had with this is when I got it at Christmas, and I tried to play it with my brother, and it was like it was just too hard. Like there was too much to set up and do. This rule book, trying to work out this rule book. Like I don't think it's a bad rule book. It's just got a lot of rules in it. Oh, let me show you. There we go. So yeah, it's just like a lot of rules. So you imagine trying to play this on Christmas Day evening. Can you see? Yeah, there's a lot of rules. So that was probably a mistake, but it kind of got me off to a start of like, God, this is complicated. And yeah, I just feel like every time I come back to it, I'm learning it afresh. So I feel like I've tried, and maybe someone else should have a try. And so Maracaibo, I do love it. It has a little campaign element to it, and I thought that was really cool. It changes tiles on the board as you go through the campaign. But again, there was too many gaps in between campaigning, and I completely forgot what I was doing and why I was doing it and all that sort of thing. So Maracaibo is sailing away. See what I did there? Oh, one I've just missed out. So this is one that I bought from my local board game shop, and I played it a few times. Have I played it with anyone else? I don't think so. But I played it on the channel as well, and that is the Art Project. Nice little game. No complaints about the way it plays. The rule book is good. It's not too complicated. It's like a mid to lightweight game, I would say. But the thing that I have a problem with this is it's so similar to Pandemic. Like it has such a similar feel. Like you're going around and taking out these baddies, white hands, I think they're called. And you're trying to take art before it's stolen. And this is my problem with it, is the theme. It's like, the theme is like art thieves. Like, I understand it's kind of like, almost like sort of James Bond type thing, but it just, I just want to play Pandemic. I think that's the thing. I have Pandemic Iberia, which I should play on the channel at some point. It's a really, like, I think it's the probably the most beautiful looking Pandemic, and I just prefer to play that. Like I played all the oh gosh, what are they called? The quest ones, the campaign ones. I can't remember. Anyway, I love Pandemic, and this is like Pandemic but with art, and I'm just like, with art? Okay. And I'm going to sell it. Okay, what is next? So let me look at my list. All right, so this is probably the most controversial, I guess, or maybe both of these last two are the most controversial. So this game, I have bought this, and I've also bought another game from this company. Well, two other games actually, and I've sold one. I've tried to sell the other one, and now I'm selling this one, and it is Oh, so heavy. Too Many Bones, Undertow. And, you know, the thing with chip theory games is the they're so well made. So well made. This is, I mean, this box, it's just like a normal sized game box and it's so heavy. I want to show you, if you, oh, excuse me, if you haven't seen any chip theory games, let me show you. So look at this. I mean, the box is beautiful. These are the dice that you use to attack enemies. And the cards are in these lovely little things, and they're all sort of plasticky, so, you know, that's great. Well, apart from for the environment. And of course, with chip theory games, you get all these lovely chips, you know, just lovely. Although sometimes it's hard to read stuff on them. So, you know, you can't complain about that. You pay for it, sure. But for me, this is the problem. So this is the rule book for Too Many Bones, Undertow. And it is just pages and pages of writing. And it's really, really hard to find stuff out once you've started the game. It's really hard to find stuff in here. There's nothing on the back. You know, what are you doing back here? Were you expecting something? Yes, a player aid. Now, to be fair, you know, there's some stuff, but this doesn't. I found it so hard to find how to play things, how to play this game in this. It's just not good enough, I don't think. And then also, even if you know the rules, you have these cards. This is like the reference, just the main reference. So I guess, you know, this could be on the back of the rule book. But there's lots of information here. All the sort of keywords that you have to know are here. So you're constantly looking at these. And then every one of the characters you play has one of these. And they have all this that you got to reference. And then all this as well, with all the things that they can do. Lots of writing, a bit of help with, you know, how to start, their suggestions. But there's just so much. And then all the stuff with the dice, right? Which dice because as you upgrade, you get more dice. But then actually, I think upgrading what your base stats, so you're like attack and defense and all those things, are generally like the best thing to do. So it ends up with an awful lot of rules, an awful lot of time looking through these cards, trying to find out what this thing means, which is on one of the enemies, which will affect you. And then, you know, you have the strategy of moving around the maps. I don't think I can get to a map right now because they're under everything. And it is a well thought out game. It's well made, as I've said. It's well thought out. I think the rule book isn't good, and it's just too much. And then also, because there's a lot of dice rolling, sometimes you just like do not roll well, and you can play through a whole sort of scenario of games. You have certain sort of big bosses that you're heading towards, and you can just mess up because you roll dice really badly. And I know that's, you know, that's dice rolling, isn't it? But I haven't. This has been sitting in its box for about a year now, and I should sell it. So it's going to go. Again, it's not a bad game. It's just, for me, as a solo player, it's too much. Oh. Oh dear. Hold on a sec. Be right back. Hello, hello. Sorry, camera turned off. Should be resolved now. Yeah, but you still would have heard me. So yes, Too Many Bones Undertow is out. And for the final game, a De Vere game. Generally, I like De Vere games. I think they are pretty solid. This one is gorgeous, looks great. I've played it at 3 players and I liked it at 3 players. But solo, the White Castle is not my favorite. And the big reason for that is that it's too hard, I think. And it's some people in certain places say it isn't too hard. But I think it is too hard, and it's weird to me that the sort of standard solo mode in this game, it comes with an AI sort of card deck, is like brutal. And I'm like, why? And apparently, like, a designer of the game said he only wins, like, I can't remember if it was 30 or 15% of the time, but I was like, really? On standard mode? Why have you designed it like that? I don't understand it. And I'm not really a fan of doing. I can't print things off at home, so I can't print off like fan-made solo modes. But I'm not the sort of person that likes to do that, like do sort of random rule changes. I like the game to work out of the box. That's what I want. And for me, the solo mode doesn't, and that's how I would play it the most. And because it's so hard, I stopped playing it. And, you know, it's all very well to sort of say, oh, change this or change that. But why doesn't it, as far as I'm concerned, work at solo if you've got a solo mode in it? So yeah, I like this game. I think it's a really interesting, tight sort of worker placement. I love the idea of the dice that you pre-roll and put on the bridges, but yeah, it just doesn't quite work for me. So there we go. That is the end. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, which will clear out about 2 shelves in my of my board game shelves. So I'm going to put those up for sale probably this week. And please comment below on things that I'm selling if you think I'm crazy or if you think I'm missing something. There is a potential that I might try and play Robinson Crusoe on the channel before I put it up for sale and just see, because I think that one out of all of them is the one that I would be like, you know, I know this is such a good game. Why is it not working for me? And with things like when I played Lord of the Rings on the channel, the card game, now I'm like ordering extra cards for it. So, and I was like, I hate this game. And in fact, I'm thinking of doing a continuous thing of playing games that I don't like before to see if I like them, to see if my opinions changed before they go in the CULL pile. So there we go. Okay, well, that is it for this board game CULL. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, please comment below, please give it a like. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I mean, literally everyone is subscribed to my channel, like 200 people. So why haven't you? Okay, all right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next live stream or the next video. Okay, bye. Bye, 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 bye.